California is losing its crown. Texas is taking over. California, step aside. New York, take a back seat. The Lone Star State is on a path to become the most powerful state in America, and it's happening faster than anyone expected. Why? Let's find out. Texas is rewriting the playbook on population growth, economic dominance, and political influence. Once a desolate frontier has evolved into a global powerhouse, challenging the likes of Silicon Valley and Wall Street. From record-breaking population surges to an economy larger than most countries, Texas is a rising star you can't afford to ignore. What makes Texas so unstoppable? The population explosion. Texas isn't the most populated state yet, but it's closing the gap fast. While California has been losing residents, Texas is welcoming nearly 1 million new people every year. In fact, the gap between the two states' populations has shrunk by almost 5 million in the last 2 decades alone, thanks to Texas's unmatched growth rate. This is more than just numbers. It's political power. Texas now has 38 representatives in the U.S. House, a number that's climbing as its population booms. More people means more influence, more funding, and more control over the future of America. Texas versus California, the showdown. During the pandemic, California faced an unprecedented population decline. Over 700,000 people fled the state, while Texas surged ahead, adding nearly 900,000 residents. Why? Lower taxes, affordable housing, and a pro-business environment make Texas a magnet for families and corporations alike. By 2024, the population gap between Texas and California is less than 8 million. A dramatic shift that has experts predicting Texas could take the top spot as early as the 2040s. Why Texas? The secret sauce. From its vast energy reserves to its thriving tech hubs like Austin, Texas has everything a modern economy needs. The state is diversifying faster than ever before, attracting industries from renewable energy to aerospace. And let's not forget its central location, which makes it a logistics powerhouse. Politically, Texas has also become a battleground. With 38 electoral votes, it's a kingmaker in presidential elections. No wonder it's one of the most coveted states in U.S. politics. Texas's rise to power, social influence, and economic supremacy. Texas isn't just leading in population and political influence, it's shaping America's future by taking center stage in some of the nation's most critical social debates. From immigration reform to healthcare policies, Texas has become a key player in driving national discourse and setting the tone for action. While its cultural and political clout continues to grow, the true driving force behind Texas's rise lies in its economy. In 2023, Texas reported a staggering GDP of $2.56 trillion, marking a remarkable 6.7% growth from the previous year. This economic boom means Texas now contributes 9.37% of the U.S. GDP. To put this into perspective, if Texas were an independent nation, it would boast the 8th largest economy in the world, surpassing countries like Brazil, Canada, Russia, and Australia. This incredible global standing highlights just how powerful Texas's economy has become. What makes Texas's economic dominance even more impressive is the diversity and strength of its industries. The capital city, Austin, has transformed into a hub for technological innovation, often referred to as the Silicon Valley of the South. Tech companies and startups alike are drawn to Austin's vibrant ecosystem and business-friendly environment. Meanwhile, Dallas serves as a financial powerhouse, attracting Fortune 500 companies and establishing itself as a global center for banking, commerce, and industry. Houston further solidifies Texas's reputation as an economic leader. Widely recognized as the energy capital of the world, Houston is home to a dense concentration of oil and gas companies that influence global energy markets. San Antonio adds another dimension with its strong military presence, thriving tourism industry, and burgeoning cybersecurity sector, all of which contribute to Texas's multifaceted economy. What sets Texas apart from many other states is its statewide growth. Unlike states with economies centered around a single metropolitan area, Texas's success is spread across its vast expanse. Industries like aerospace and agriculture provide a strong foundation for the state's economy, ensuring resilience and balance. This distributed growth model has been particularly evident in regions such as the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex and the Texas Triangle, Austin, Dallas, and Houston, which have seen unprecedented economic and population booms. As Texas continues to attract businesses, talent, and families, its trajectory seems unstoppable. The state's ability to combine rapid innovation, economic diversity, and cultural influence positions it as a formidable contender for dominance on the national stage. While other states struggle with challenges like population decline or economic stagnation, Texas is surging ahead. With its booming economy, growing population, and increasing political influence, it is only a matter of time before Texas becomes the most powerful state in the U.S. The question is no longer if Texas will take the crown, it's when. The Texas Triangle, a hub of growth and opportunity. The Dallas-Fort Worth, DFW metropolitan area, often abbreviated as DFW, has experienced explosive growth in recent years. Since 2010, its population has grown by nearly 1.5 million, bringing the total to 8.1 million people as of 2024. This makes DFW the fourth largest metropolitan area in the U.S., following Greater New York, Greater Los Angeles, and the Greater Chicago area. Unlike many of its counterparts, DFW is still growing, while others have seen population declines. At its current pace, DFW is projected to surpass the Greater Chicago area by the mid-2030s. DFW's growth is just one piece of a much larger puzzle, the Texas Triangle. This densely populated region includes the metropolitan areas of Houston, San Antonio, and Austin, encompassing all of Texas's largest cities. Covering just 60,000 square miles, less than a quarter of the state's total land area, the Texas Triangle is home to more than 22 million people, representing 3 out of every 4 Texans. It's also the fourth most populous megaregion in the U.S., behind the Great Lakes megalopolis, the Northeast Corridor, and Southern California. Unlike most top megaregions, Southern California and the Texas Triangle are predominantly contained within a single state. While California still edges out Texas in some respects, Texas is catching up, or even leading, in key economic areas. Texas's economic leadership. Texas is the top U.S. state for exports, with $444 billion worth of goods exported in 2023. To put this into perspective, Texas's exports to Mexico alone, valued at approximately $144 billion, almost match California's total exports of $178 billion. The state's export dominance underscores its critical role in global trade. Texas also leads in hosting Fortune 500 companies, with 55 headquartered in the state, surpassing California's 53. This has earned Texas the title of the headquarters of headquarters, as proclaimed by Governor Greg Abbott. Prominent companies based in Texas include Caterpillar in Irving, Charles Schwab in Westlake, Hewlett-Packard Enterprise in Spring, JCPenney in Plano, Oracle in Austin, and Tesla in Austin. Notably, 40% of companies relocating their headquarters to Texas in recent years have come from California, highlighting the state's growing appeal. Companies like Office Depot, CVS Pharmacy, and Coca-Cola, though not headquartered in Texas, significantly contribute to its economy and job market. Texas as a business magnet. Major corporations are expanding their footprints in Texas. Apple has constructed a $1 billion, 3 million square foot campus in Austin with an initial capacity of 5,000 employees. Google has committed $330 million to expand in Texas, including a $600 million investment in a new data center in Red Oak, DFW. Meta plans to build a sprawling 1,000-acre data center campus in El Paso. The financial sector is also drawn to Texas. Goldman Sachs is building a massive Dallas campus, set to become its largest hub outside its New York City headquarters. The Dallas hub will accommodate 5,000 employees compared to 8,000 in Manhattan. Why businesses thrive in Texas. Texas's appeal lies in its business-friendly environment. The state has no income or capital gains taxes, allowing individuals and businesses to retain more earnings. Additionally, small business owners in Texas benefit from favorable loan terms, enabling them to grow more effectively than in most other states. This combination of economic diversity, population growth, and pro-business policies has solidified Texas as a powerhouse. As the Texas Triangle continues to expand, the state's influence on national and global stages is set to grow even further. Real estate market. Texas's business-friendly policies and highly skilled, diverse workforce are attracting businesses and individuals alike. However, another significant draw is the state's real estate market. Compared to major metropolitan areas like New York City, San Francisco, and Los Angeles, where median home prices often exceed $1 million, Texas offers far more affordable options. In May 2024, the median listing price for a home in Austin, Texas's most expensive city, was $650,000, half the cost of a Los Angeles home. Dallas homes averaged $467,000, and Houston homes were even more affordable at $340,000, nearly 4 times less than the cost of a home in San Francisco. This affordability has solidified Texas as the strongest housing market in the U.S., with over 80,000 homes available for sale in 2023, more than doubling the previous year's inventory. New construction continues to expand opportunities for incoming residents who often join Texas's booming civilian workforce, now the second largest in the U.S. with 15 million people. The state also prioritizes workforce education, boasting over 300 trade schools, 125 technical programs, and initiatives like the Texas Reskilling and Upskilling Through Education TRUE program. These programs equip residents for roles in high-demand sectors, further bolstering Texas's position as a leader in job creation. Connectivity and infrastructure. The Texas Triangle's central location within the contiguous U.S. grants it excellent connectivity and transportation links, which are critical for both travel and commerce. Dallas-Fort Worth International Airport, DFW, is a prime example, ranking as one of the 3 busiest airports in the world by total seats. It serves as the primary hub for American Airlines, the largest airline globally by fleet size and passengers carried, while Dallas Love Field Airport is a major hub for Southwest Airlines, the world's largest low-cost carrier. Texas also excels in cargo and logistics, with notable facilities like the Perot Field Fort Worth Alliance, a hub for FedEx Express, and Amazon Air. The state's infrastructure is unparalleled, with 314,000 miles of public roads, over 10,000 miles of rail track, 395 airports, and 19 commercial seaports. This extensive network supports seamless transportation of goods domestically and internationally, making Texas a powerhouse in global trade and an attractive destination for businesses seeking to streamline supply chains. Natural resources. Texas's vast natural resources play a critical role in its economic success. Covering 268,820 square miles, the state accounts for 7% of the U.S.'s total land area and has been a leader in oil and natural gas production for decades. These resources make Texas one of the nation's most valuable geopolitical assets. The state's oil industry, over a century old, has shaped Texas's identity and fueled much of its economic growth. As the second largest state in the U.S. by area, Texas has leveraged its size and resources to create a thriving economy that continues to attract businesses and residents from across the country. The oil boom. The Texas oil boom began in 1894 when the American well and prospecting companies stumbled upon oil while searching for water in Navarro County near Corsicana in East Texas. 4 years later, the first modern refinery was built on this oil field. The success of the Corsicana field, combined with the growing global demand for oil, sparked a statewide hunt for new reserves. In 1901, this search culminated in the discovery of the Spindletop oil field near Beaumont, then the largest oil field in the world. The discovery triggered an oil frenzy, causing Beaumont's population to surge by 250% within just 30 days. And by 1903, it had increased nearly fivefold to 50,000 residents. This breakthrough convinced Texans of the vast untapped oil reserves within the state. The oil boom continued into the 1920s with the discovery of the Permian Basin, a massive oil-rich region covering over 75,000 square miles across West Texas and southeastern New Mexico. With more than 7,000 oil fields, the Permian Basin quickly became one of the world's most productive oil and gas regions, solidifying Texas as a dominant force in the oil industry. Texas's oil production helped elevate the U.S. to the position of the world's largest oil producer, granting it immense political and economic power. During World War II, Texas played a pivotal role, supplying nearly 6 out of every 7 barrels of oil used by the Allied forces, crucially contributing to the war effort. The oil boom transformed Texas from a primarily rural state into a thriving economic and industrial hub. The revenue and infrastructure growth from oil production allowed Texas to achieve a level of self-sufficiency, functioning almost as an independent state within the U.S. However, by the post-war period, global oil demand surged and U.S. production struggled to keep pace. For the first time in history, the U.S. began to rely on external sources for oil, marking the start of a new era in the global oil market. In 1946, the country imported its first large-scale oil shipment, signaling a shift in its energy dynamics. The oil crisis. The U.S. transitioned from being an oil exporter to a net importer by 1948, as shipments from Kuwait in the Middle East marked the beginning of a growing reliance on foreign oil. This shift, although inevitable, had significant consequences, particularly in terms of national security and economic stability. Oil was a crucial component of the U.S. economy, and dependence on foreign sources left the country vulnerable to global price fluctuations and geopolitical tensions that could disrupt the oil supply. The 1973 oil crisis starkly demonstrated this vulnerability when oil-producing Arab nations imposed an embargo on oil exports to the U.S. in retaliation for the country's support of Israel during the Yom Kippur War. The embargo led to soaring prices and widespread shortages, further highlighting the risks of depending on foreign oil. Despite these global challenges, Texas remained a central figure in the U.S. oil industry, helping to offset some of the impacts of the crisis. By 1974, the Permian Basin alone was responsible for producing about 25% of the U.S.'s total oil supply, solidifying Texas's role as a key player in domestic oil production. However, the geopolitical turbulence of the 1970s caught up with Texas in the 1980s. The combination of falling oil prices and reduced demand plunged the state into a severe recession. Several ambitious oil projects were abandoned as the state grappled with a sharp decline in oil revenue. By 2007, production in the Permian Basin had reached an all-time low, signaling a period of significant economic hardship for Texas. Yet, true to its resilient nature, Texas began to adapt and innovate, ultimately paving the way for its recovery. Fracking. Texas adapted to the challenges posed by the 2007 oil slump by embracing a groundbreaking innovation in the energy sector: hydraulic fracturing, commonly known as fracking. Engineers working in the Barnett Shale region in northern Texas successfully combined two technologies: horizontal well drilling and hydraulic fracturing. This fusion allowed for the extraction of oil and gas from previously unreachable shale rock formations, transforming the oil and gas industry. The result was a boom in oil production, revitalizing the Texas oil industry. Thousands of new fracking wells were drilled across the state, including in the Eagle Ford Shale in south and southeastern Texas, as well as the Permian Basin. The Permian Basin, in particular, proved to be rich in petroleum-bearing shale rocks, enabling the region to account for 25% of the total U.S. oil production once again. Additionally, fracking led to the discovery of significant new oil fields in the Permian Basin, including the Sprayberry Trend and the Wolfcamp Shale. Together, these fields form the second-largest oil reserve in the world, trailing only behind Saudi Arabia's Ghawar oil field. The Eagle Ford Shale is so massive that it surpasses Russia's Samatlor field, making it one of the most impressive oil fields globally. Strategic location. What further sets Texas apart is its strategic location. The oil fields in the Permian Basin, for example, are situated near the Texas Triangle, a highly populated and well-connected region with vast infrastructure. This proximity to major highways and rail systems makes transporting oil to U.S. markets and international ones relatively easy. In contrast, oil fields in countries like Saudi Arabia and Russia are more isolated, with access to global markets hindered by geographic and logistical challenges. Thanks to its central location, Texas has become a global leader in oil production, surpassing countries like Iraq and China. If Texas were a nation, it would rank as the fourth largest oil producer globally, just behind the US, Russia, and Saudi Arabia. Given the state's infrastructure and strategic advantages, it is likely to continue climbing the ranks in global oil production. Diversification in energy. Texas, however, isn't solely reliant on non-renewable energy. The state is also a leader in renewable energy, particularly wind and solar power. Texas ranks number 1 in the U.S. for wind energy production, thanks to its vast open spaces and particularly windy regions in the High Plains and Central Texas. In fact, Texas's diverse energy portfolio, spanning both traditional and renewable resources, positions it as a key player in both the national and global energy markets. Beyond energy, Texas boasts a thriving economy in various sectors, including agriculture, aerospace, biotechnology, manufacturing, and information technology. The future of Texas. With its strong industries, growing population, and diverse economy, Texas is poised to become the top state in the U.S. As the state's influence continues to grow, it seems increasingly likely that Texas will not only maintain its leadership role in the U.S., but will also rise to new heights in the coming years. The state's continued growth and economic diversification will allow it to lead the nation for decades to come. Do you agree that Texas is destined to take the top spot among U.S. states? If so, when do you think that will happen? Feel free to share your thoughts below. And if you're curious about Texas's population growth, check out our video on states that new Texans are coming from to learn more about what's driving people to move to Texas.